Hi everyone, I'm Maddie from TTG. I'm with you for this session. Chris, Bev and Lee, don't need another introduction, I don't believe. They were in the previous session with you. But if you've just tuned in, we have Bev, Chris and Lee from Riviera to talk all things ocean, yacht and tall ship cruises. So we've already heard about these, but this is the session focusing on to sail or not to sail. This is more business advice-led content. It's how to market, it's selling tips, it's how to switch sell, all of that kind of really tangible, useful information that's going to encourage your clients to sail with Riviera. So do ask questions in the chat. As always, we're here to answer them for you today. So first up, I'm going to come to you, Bev. When did Riviera launch its ocean, tall ship and yacht cruises? Have they been around as long as the river cruises, or are they newer products?
Yes, well, to be honest, no, they haven't been as long as the River Cruise program. Often we think about it as being a much newer program because it's smaller as well. However, this might surprise many people. Star Clipper, we launched in 2010. So it has been in the marketplace with Riviera for longer than you might expect. And then the yachts came on board mainly in, do you like what I'm saying, on board? Sorry, 2016 on that one. And that was with the MV Corona. And then for the Celestial, that was launched last year with us. So we're always evolving and always adding in new products as well. So we like to listen to customer feedback on that one.
Fantastic, and always love a pun. Puns are always welcome. So, Chris, coming to you next. We have just heard all about the incredible ocean cruises that Riviera is offering right now. But do you feel that this ocean cruise product really does rival that of other companies who are going to be better known for their ocean cruise? And you don't think Riviera, you think ocean cruise immediately, although you might do after this week. What are your thoughts on that in terms of in comparison to your competitors?
Well, very good question, and it's probably worth clarifying that Riviera, we understand that we're not a mass market cruise company because we simply don't own our own ocean cruise ships. We are in a very unique position where we get to pick and choose the ships, the cruises, the experiences that we think that will appeal to our guests, and then what we do is we package it all together with flights, hotel stays, land tours, and excursions, and with our guests' interests in mind at all times to make sure that we're delivering that Riviera product and that Riviera experience that they all know and love and they come back time and time again for. This means that we can tailor make the product specifically for our guests, and then we can improve that offering based on feedback. And that's exactly what we do at Riviera, unlike some of our competitors where they try to do the one shoe fits all approach to everybody. At Riviera, we literally tailor make it, and some of our tours, believe it or not, the whole way they were created was based on customer feedback, and they love it.
Fantastic. Okay. And Bev, who would you say your closest competitors are in the ocean cruise market specifically?
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Yeah, that's a really good question. So, as Chris was saying, because we're not, we don't own the ships. But for me, I would say any ocean cruise operator is our competition. But it's all about thinking when you're selling us, it's about customers being reassured that the customers, if they book with us on a yacht or an ocean, they're going to have that Riviera experience. So it might be that they've already done a river cruise and, they're looking at another product. They might be looking at another ocean, and then it's a really easy switch sell. It's sort of seamless in many ways because they know what to expect. But we have done a lot of market research, and if I'm allowed to mention, some customers have moved across, for our ocean cruise specifically and yachts from P&O, from Viking, from Hurtigruten. So that is from our market research. So, it is horses for courses really, but I think the big thing for us is it's smaller ships, and that is the massive selling point with the Riviera touch as well.
Yeah, it's really interesting to know. Thank you. Okay, so that's set the scene a little. And I want to touch on the USPs of your ocean and yacht cruises, just so that agents can use kind of these USPs to point them out to clients and really help you stand out from the crowd. Now, Chris, the tall ships stand out for obvious reasons, but what would you say really makes Riviera's ocean and yacht cruise itineraries stand out? I mean, what can agents say about them that's really going to catch their customers' eyes and want them to travel with you?
Well, as I previously mentioned, we do carefully package and design each ocean cruise itinerary with elements that we think are going to appeal to the Riviera guest, from picking the hand-picked hotels for a pre-cruise stay, the excursions that we include, and we also have several sailings on a charter basis, which means that we can tweak the cruise itinerary for our guests based on the feedback. you'll see that we do tend to choose smaller, more intimate ships, so that the guests can actually mingle and get to know each other and make lasting relationships. We'll call it smaller, more interesting ports, undiscovered places. And sometimes when it comes down to you, actually the agent selling the cruise, you have to do a little bit of research yourself, because you might never have known about the port. You might not know even what country the port is in, because they're that unique and undiscovered. But really getting out there and going to the places the big ships simply can't go to is really what appeals to a lot of our new clients coming across from other companies, such as Hunter Gruton, P&O even, for example, is all about doing things that the other ships simply can't do. Is going to all those undiscovered locations, ticking things off that bucket list. But most importantly, it's doing things that no one else can.
Fantastic. Okay, now Lee, coming to you. I know you've experienced Riviera's ocean and yacht cruises, as you said in the previous session. So I'm going to throw you a few questions, if that's all right.
Yeah, sure.
I wanted to know about the onboard dining. Can you just tell us a bit about that? And are agents able to tell their customers that there's something on board for all tastes and all requirements?
Yeah, definitely. So you are given breakfast and dinner daily on board. On one of the evenings, you'll also have a captain's dinner, which is a really great way to mingle with the other guests on board. The food is outstanding. I've tried pretty much everything on there, and it's fantastic. But then again, talking about what Chris mentioned, being well balanced, we allow guests to go and explore in the evening. So you can go and explore the local restaurants, try the local cuisine, speak to the tour manager and listen to his recommendations about somewhere special to try. Especially if it's a special occasion, they can say, oh yes, I know a very nice restaurant you can go to. So they're great to refer to. But the chefs will cater for everyone on board. If there's a specific requirement, they are more than happy to cater for you. So if there's any, special meal that you want, they are so accommodating on board that they will literally just speak to you and be like, yes, we can do that for you. So yeah, pretty much accounts for everyone.
Fantastic. That's great to hear. Now, with cruising, onboard service is such a big part of the experience and can really make or break an experience. So I was wondering, what is Riviera doing to make sure that its onboard service is top notch? Lee, do you have any examples that you can share of where the service has really gone above and beyond?
Yeah, I mean, we get sort of scores from our guests every single year, and we do phenomenally well in that. I think probably Chris and Bev could talk to you a bit more about that. But the great thing about the yacht cruises is, as we've mentioned, the intimacy. So the crew ratio on board, you basically, sometimes it's nearly, you have your own sort of personal waiter at times, because it's such a small number of guests on board, and they really get to know the guests. And you get to know them as well. I'm still in touch with most of the guests and some of the crew as well. So, and again, I've gone and booked my own personal trip because I loved it so much. So I'm like, yes, I want to do that again. And you come away really almost feeling like you've made some great friends. But and seeing the crew daily as well, they get to know you. They get to know what you like, what you don't like, and they remember things really, really well. And you're so surprising to get that service, especially at some places that in this day and age, for them to remember what drink you like, what time you like it. It's great. It's just the intimate setting that allows you to get that one-on-one service that probably you're not going to get everywhere else.
Okay, interesting. And what about the onboard activities, Lee? Can you just talk to us about what's available on the ocean cruises mainly, I guess?
Yeah, so onboard activities, the tour managers are really, really great. They're our strongest asset, and they will basically, they have their own personality and they get to know the group. So it varies really. There's no strict sort of onboard activity that runs a set program. It can be quizzes. It can be an interesting session in the morning to discuss where you're sailing to that morning, to give you some interesting insights and facts about where we're going to. So Chris, Bev, have you got any more info on the onboard activity?
Yeah, I was going to say Chris and Bev.
I was sat on the sun deck and I was relaxing.
Yeah, I mean, my main thing was really for the Clipper. Well, no, that's a good shout, isn't it, Lee? I'd be relaxing if I was on board one of those as well. But with the Star Clipper, then you do also get local musicians might come on board as well, depending on what port or what harbour they're in. So we do that. So that is part of the Star Clipper itinerary really on there. Obviously Celestia will have their own elements going on as well, but as Lee did say, it is all about the cruise director, and they will really look at the group, and tone it to them. So if the group is a bit more relaxed and chilled, as maybe your group was, Lee, maybe on there, if you're on the sun deck, etc., they will, really react to that group. Or if there's a very lively group on board, so it is down to the cruise director, and that's how they score so highly as well. So there's no set itinerary on activities on some of those. But also, just to say, when we do dock, there's lots of swimming activities as well, and swimming aids, etc. Floats and things like that go out as well into the sea.
Fantastic. Thank you both. And then Chris, did you want to add anything on onboard service or dining?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's definitely in terms of the cruise director and the tour managers, like they do have the flexibility to run the program gauged to the group they have on board. That's why a lot of them in the industry do want to work for Riviera Travels, because we do give them the freedom to, for example, if you were going off to do a yacht in Croatia or a clipper, gauge it to your audience. If they're a little bit more lively, the entertainment might be geared towards people that are a little bit more lively. If everybody's just having a glass of champagne up on the sun deck like Lee all week long, they'll gauge it and tone it down a little bit, but they really do gauge it to the audience, which is why they want to work for us. They come back time and time again, and they do score so high across guest feedback.
Okay, fantastic. So Bev, coming back to you, I know we've had a session on shore excursions this week already, but I did want to touch on it briefly because it is such a selling point for agents when they're talking to their customers. Could you just talk about some of the ocean cruise shore excursions that really stand out, are the real highlights? And do you have any of those experiences that are only offered by Riviera? Do you have anything exclusive that agents could use as a selling point?
Not so much exclusive, to be honest, but if you're looking at the tall ships, the one that I was talking about earlier, then yeah, they're going to be going into Mijas, and they're going to be having that is something that we've tailored and put in. So all of the itineraries are tailored for Riviera because it is just for Riviera customers. So probably I didn't answer that in the right way. Yeah, it is tailored to us. So all of the things on there are things that we have put together is in that itinerary. So as I say, in Mijas, they're going to go along to have tapas and sample the wine, etc. in there, specifically for them. So there are lots of other little ones in there. Leo, can you think of some others that you had on that one? On the one that you did?
Yeah, so one day we went to Zadar, and then we got taken to a sea organ, which I'd never heard of, never knew anything about, and it was just absolutely fascinating to hear about that. It's basically a sea organ that runs along the shore of the sea and runs from the wind and the waves on the shore, and it was absolutely amazing to hear about that. Again, it's just places you probably wouldn't always find on your own, especially. With me and my partner, we're pretty lazy, and it was great having a tour manager there to show us all these things that we probably wouldn't have found on our own. And that runs every day. Every day there's somewhere new to explore. It's absolutely brilliant. All included in the price, obviously.
And also, we're always looking at that, aren't we? So each year we'll look at feedback, and then we will tailor make it ourselves to the customers and put that out as the itinerary. So the product managers are always working behind the scenes. So that's why it is, they are put together exclusively to us as a Riviera itinerary.
Fantastic. That's all really great to know. Chris, I also did want to ask you a question about sustainability. Obviously, TTG operates to promote a smarter, better, fairer travel industry. So we're always wanting to ask these questions. And cruise lines are being increasingly challenged about their sustainability initiatives. Could you just tell us what Riviera has implemented to reduce the negative impact of cruises on the environment or the people and the destinations that the cruises are visiting?
Absolutely. So Riviera Travel, up until the pandemic, we were working very closely with a company called Travel Life, and we were introducing new initiatives and developing best practice, not only in destination and at the product delivery side of things, but also in our offices, point of booking, even us on the road. That we're coming up with loads of different initiatives, even for us when we're on the road visiting our travel agent partners. At the moment, we're currently in the process of benchmarking all of our accommodation partners to understand their sustainability practices so that we can encourage those that are maybe following fallen a little bit short to, up their game a little bit in terms of 5 key areas that we look at is energy efficiency, waste management, water conservation, sustainable F&B practices like to minimise food waste. Also on our product side of things, whenever our river ship stock, our ocean ship stock, we'll always try to use shore power whenever it's available. So it's like a big extension cord you plug in. You can turn off all the engines so it stops any exhaust emissions coming out. On board the ships, we've also reduced the use of buffets as well. It's one of the biggest sources of food waste. If we cut the buffets down and it's more to order, the food waste does get kept to a minimum. We're not saying eat less, we're more for eating more, so you can control the portion size as much as you want. And of course, one of the great things about when you come on board one of our seagoing holidays is you'll find a reusable water bottle in your cabin when you get on board. So that's yours to keep, take home, take it out in port with you, whatever you want to do. Around the ship, you'll find water stations so you can refill it, chilled, room temperature, whatever you want. And again, it's just to minimise single-use plastic bottles on board. So we are improving, like the entire industry. There's a lot of work still to be done, but we are taking steps where we can to minimise our impact and obviously sustainable tourism for everyone, which is why we're obviously part of the TTG project as well.
Yeah.
Can I just add something onto that, Maddie, if you don't mind as well, just about our basically our Arctic cruises as well, if that's okay. But what we are doing with that, I've just made some notes as well, because obviously physics isn't my strong point and I didn't want to get it wrong. But with the suppliers that we're working with, we do always pick those now with this in mind, sustainability.
Yeah.
And when we work with Albatross Cruises, they're the latest MV Albatross in the fleet. They are 50%, this is what I've got to double check, 50% lower carbon footprint than the traditional. So it's low energy, and they're using 4 diesel engines on that with 2 electro engines, all controlled to optimize speed and fuel. So that is really important for us for the Arctic, and that is something that we are very, very conscious about. But in the part of the wider plan, we're doing a Doing the Right Thing plan, which is across the whole business, as Chris referred to, and that is a 5-year plan that will take into account everything: ocean, river cruising, etc. So it's doing the right plan. Doing the right thing 5-year plan. That's what we're doing at the moment as well.
Fantastic. Yeah, every step counts, doesn't it? Every step makes a difference, even
really
small ones. Yeah.
Yes.
Great. Okay, so we're going to move on to some switch selling tips in a second. But before we do that, I can see I've got a question in the chat from Tracy. She's wondering, do you restrict the size of any groups on your yacht cruises specifically? She's got clients who are a couple who have been on a tour holiday previously, where they were with a larger group and they felt isolated, didn't get a chance to mingle. So yeah, do you restrict the size of groups on yacht cruises, or is it, or I guess are agents able to have sight of the bookings on that yacht cruise and adjust accordingly, or recommend to their clients accordingly?
Now, that is a very good question, and hands up, I don't know the exact answer to that one myself. I don't know if anyone else wants to interject. Do you mean if somebody had a group of, say, 20 passengers and we're only taking, say, 38 on there? Is that the question that you're referring to, really?
I'm understanding it to be if you've got a maximum group size of, say, 22, and you've got a group of 20 on there, and then you're going to have just one couple being with that other group, it could be quite isolating for them.
Right. If it was a larger group, then we would definitely then, if an agent came to us and they said we want to take 24 people on, one that only takes 38, we would obviously have that conversation and perhaps block that off and not make it available to other paying customers. If it was a smaller group, then again, we would make customers aware. But I think to be 100% accurate on that, we will get back to whoever's asked that question, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so moving on to switch selling. Chris, I'm going to come back to you. What are your top tips for switch selling ocean cruises, specifically clients who love ocean cruising, who are currently cruising with another cruise line? What would be your top tips for convincing them that they want to sail with Riviera instead?
Well, it's actually a lot easier to switch someone from maybe another ocean company over to Riviera. First and foremost, you'll know yourself, and people in the UK now know this across the board, that when you book a cruise, you're leaving with a bill at the end of it. So your cruise fare, you might be able to get on for £200 for a family of 10, for a week going around the Med. Obviously, the bulk of your bill is going to be on onboard charges, your onboard bill when you get off. Our cruise packages and holidays are not full of add-ons, and they're not full of upselling. They include your flights, your shore excursions, and most of them even include the bar bill, and the Wi-Fi is on us as well. You'll be travelling with like-minded guests that you get to know, and we use smaller, more friendlier vessels. So rather than just being a number on a huge ship, the waiters will know your name, they'll know your drink order, they'll think of things before you even do, and it's all backed up, obviously, by our Riviera famous service as well. And 82%, if you can get someone who's normally ocean with another company over to Riviera, 82% of those guests that come across never go back. They come back time and time again with Riviera. And if you give us that guest and we bring them on board, 82% of them will come back to us, and we'll both have that client for life as well. And it means that you can get on board, let us take care of everything on board, that you can get on board with getting your next booking. But it's an easy sell. When you break down the price of the holiday and how much is actually included, the bang you're getting for your buck with a Riviera holiday, no one comes close. When you can comfortably say that your total bill for your holiday, give or take a little bit of spending money and eating out, will be X amount as it displays on the Riviera website. And when you break it down day by day, if you think about excursions, your drinks, your flights, transfers, everything like that, when you bundle it all together and you explain what's included in the price, you bite your hand off.
Fantastic. Okay. And Bev, I did just want to touch on the Arctic quickly. I know we've spoken a bit about the itinerary already, but what would you recommend that agents say to customers that's going to make them want to do your Arctic cruise as opposed to someone else's Arctic cruise?
Yeah, well, that's a very good point. So with us, the company that we use is very, they've been, it's a family-run business for starters, and they always go to those destinations themselves, first of all, before they even put it out to Riviera to take that allocation from them. So they are 100% committed and confident in what they're selling. The crew on board are very, very knowledgeable, so they are on the case straight away. So if they know the wildlife is in a particular area, they will literally change that itinerary as well to suit. So, and as Chris mentioned, it's only launched last year, that ship, so it's very new, very modern. It's actually got a very Scandinavian vibe as well, which you wouldn't really expect, but it looks amazing. So I think those are all the really key sellers, the fact that it's a sustainable family-run company and that they go and look out at the destination beforehand. So those are all key points for us. And again, just about the whole switch selling, it's about the small, we are much smaller, so we're able to get into those places. And for me, if you look at river cruising or yachts, it's all about going right into the heart of that destination. And that's what makes us so different. If you look at river cruising, it's a 5-star boutique hotel on the water, a city break on the water. That's how I would switch sell it. That's how I would use my language in a slightly different way. And again, with yachts, we're going right into that heart of that destination. So what's not to love about that?
Nothing at all. Okay. So we do only have a couple of minutes left, so I'm going to skip ahead to marketing. And Lee, I thought you might be able to give us some insight on this as Riviera's content and social media manager. What would be your top tips for marketing Riviera's cruises? That could be ocean, or we could bring in some river here as well. Are there any particular channels that you find would really resonate with customers the best?
I guess it's the variety, as we've touched on. We're always expanding. So, River Cruises does really well, and we love that product. And now we've got Ocean, and our yacht collection of itineraries is growing every day. We've got new itineraries for next year, so there's that variety. I guess I'd say for marketing-wise, it's kind of cheesy, but we always say, don't just ask us, ask everyone else. Have a look at the review scores. We have amazing review scores. We've got 4.6 on there. Have a look at the Trustpilot reviews. Again, 4.6, it speaks for itself. Have a look at our awards page, which is on the website, literally /awards, and you can see for yourself the recognition that we're getting from the industry, from which awards right through to all the other awards that we've won. Not being big-headed, but we have won a lot. So have a look, read the reviews and find out for yourself, because I know I do that. I'm a stickler for it, having a look at the reviews, because who knows best than the people who actually do the tours. So for marketing wise, have a look at the reviews. And again, like I say, we're always increasing the itineraries. Who knows what's going to come next? I'm quite excited because who knows what's coming next for us.
Can I just say one tip as well? Thank you, Lee, so much for that. And that is so true. But the big thing is follow us on our Riviera trade page, because we put very, very friendly posts on there. We want to take all the pressure off you guys. And you can copy and paste everything that we put on there. And I would do it as a weekly activity. Put a Cruisy Tuesday. You can have that one on me. A post, and do that every week. I would do a touring post, and I would also do a solo post every single week. And that way, when customers are watching television, watching Coronation Street, they see the Riviera advert, they're going to automatically think to book through yourselves. We're the trade team, and we want to support all of the trade as much as we can. So please copy and paste away, share all of our offers. Chris, myself, all the team, we post every day on there, river cruise, touring, yachts, and you can just lift those as they are, make them your own as well.
Fantastic. Do you have a bank of images and videos that agents can use to promote Riviera? And how do they access it? How's it accessed? Chris, can you answer that one?
Absolutely. So we've got an asset bank that we can share a login information from. So you can log in and get pictures of the ship, the destination, lots of videos. You can download as much as you want, and it's all, you can spread it around as much as you want. It's all copyright by us. It's all good to go. So if you do want the login details, please feel free to reach out to your account manager, or if you drop trade support an email, we'll get the login set up for you.
Amazing.
Just to touch on that, the content is updated every single day. We get fantastic content from all different channels, especially our tour managers who are out there, experiencing the trips every day. They send stuff to us every day, so it's always got fresh content in there.
Fantastic. And do you have any campaigns coming up, any marketing campaigns coming up that agents might like to tap into? Bev?
Yes, but yeah, we have indeed. So as we've touched on, the Celestial Cruise is going to be launched next week, and there will be some special offers on there, book early offers. So it is all about booking early with us. As we said, we do have some lates, but there will be some special offers on there where you'll get some credit, etc., and also some early booking offers. So watch this space. We are constantly doing some special offers, but they are really based around early booking as well. So yes, and currently, some of the tours have got specials on as well. So have a look. We've got an offers tab on the website, and we will also put them all on our social media posts next week as well.
Fantastic. I'm afraid that's just about all we've got time for in this session. So thank you, Bev, Chris and Lee, for sharing all your tips. It's been really helpful. And thank you to everyone who's tuned in. Remember, you can watch this session on demand. If you want to recap or share it with any colleagues, that's absolutely fine. But now it's time to move on to our next session, which is a day in the life, and that's to us back onto the river cruise topic, designed to show you exactly what a river cruise director does and how they elevate the customer experience. So let's take a look at that now.